Good morning to everyone, Lufox here, and today we're going to discuss strategy games, the impact they had on the gaming world, and how to this very day we can see them.
Alright, that's enough from you, Fox. I decided to end your passive-aggressive references to me in your videos by taking over your channel.
Dandoz? What do you mean taking over my channel? Are you like conquering me? I didn't know it was possible on YouTube. Guess I should have read the term of services. Wait, what am I saying? No, you can't just steal my channel like this.
Sure I can. In fact, I'm not only taking over, but I'm going to explore, expand, exploit and exterminate everything within your channel, just like you do in most strategy games. What, never heard of 4X games? Let me explain them to you. Roll the intro!
You stole my intro too? I can't believe this.
Good morning to everyone, Dandozwar here, and today I wish to discuss 4X games. So, what are 4X games exactly? Well, the term 4X refers to the axis: explore, expand, exploit and exterminate.
You don't say, Dando. What else are you gonna tell me? That you're giving me back the channel? That I often pronounce your name wrong?
Silence, my worthless subject! Pay some respect to your almighty overlord! So, as you can tell, this is a subgenre of the strategy game, which can include both RTS games like Age of Empires and turn-based games such as Sid Meier's Civilization. The thing that distinguishes this kind from the rest of the genre is the focus on the economy of your empire. You are recruiting armies, exploring new territories, expanding through various methods, exploiting the rich resources you just acquired, and finally, maintaining and collecting more power at any cost, exterminating your rivals or even your subjects.
How many times are you gonna repeat those 4 words? Now that I'm part of the many conquered people of the galactic Dandoz Empire, I need to ask, do the actions taken by you resemble these type of video games?
You dare challenge the legitimacy of my godly rule?
Oh, j'accuse, Dando. Not only the right you to detain the rule of this YouTube channel, but also the morality of your occupation. Sure, you might have explained what 4X games are, but you forgot to mention the moral dilemma that comes afterwards. Is it wrong to express and incentivize players to partake in colonial-style actions? The developers have the responsibility to condemn or disincentivize invasive manners in 4X titles.
You're speaking nonsense, old fox. It's the player's duty to be aware of the context of a video game. Games are entertainment, not history books. Actually, you know what? I will go one step forward and convince you on why there is no moral dilemma to be had when it comes to the 4Xs.
Sounds fair to me, Dando. Let us discuss this topic properly in the next block to answer the following question. How do you represent good and evil in 4X games? Let us find out. Now, it is important to kick off this dilemma by making an important premise. No, you're not an evil person if you play the Axis powers in a video game. The fundamental concept of distinguishing the player from the game is crucial, and it is unfair to depict fans of strategy games as psychopaths. Wouldn't you agree, Dando?
I'm glad you agree with me, Fox. Just because you like to play as Germany in any World War II game, doesn't mean you follow Mr. Mustache's views. Maybe you can be interested in alt history scenarios, difficult strategy challenges, or just painting them up with that sweet, sweet German dark grey. I conquered Fox channel just to replace those blue and orange colors. I'm not a bad person just for that.
Hey, what's wrong with my colors? Anyways, having said that, there's an uncomfortable feeling that some of these games push the message that imperialism and colonialism are positive, since the player is rewarded for conquering the world. We're not talking about a vague defeat the enemy like in chess, but rather the act of subordination and dominance the player commits during his or her run against other nations. In games like Hearts of Iron 4, the player can only realistically quote-unquote win the campaign by only conquering the rest of the world, something in theory unachievable when playing as a democracy. The focus tree within the game permits and at times incentivizes the player to take fascist or communist routes in order to be able to declare war freely to expand one's power.
Hold on a minute. Do not oversimplify the topic. The example you made is biased. If you really want to play, or rather roleplay, as a democracy, you shouldn't be interested in conquering the world, rather to maintain peace. As a totalitarian regime, even in real life, it's much more easy to justify a war. So Hearts of Iron 4 is actually reflecting the sad reality. Even in the earliest 4X games, it's clear that if you want the resources of another country, the most convenient way to obtain them is to conquer their lands, something that not imperialistic powers wouldn't do. In Freecall, an open source remake of the classic Sid Meier colonization, you can try to use your population to produce all cotton you can, to trade it with the natives and establish good relations with them so they will give you some of it. But if they have the best cotton fertile land, you'll end to want it for yourself. Why, do you ask? Because it is more profitable, and you won't risk that another colonial power could get it before you, flooding the market and destroying your peaceful but hard incomes.
I'm not saying that the sole method of gaining power in 4X games is by being a totalitarian regime, but what I'm saying is that more often than not, the game incentivizes the player to take some sort of action to exterminate the other players by any means. Sure, games like Civilization have alternative methods of victory than just military, yet deep down, every route leads to a similar outcome. You may wish to win a campaign with a religious victory, but that leads inevitably to holy wars with factions that wish to do the same. You may wish to achieve a cultural victory, but somebody else has more wonders than you, and that is not part of your agenda. The point is that it is virtually impossible to resort to a non-violent campaign in Civilization, even with the best of intentions.
The point is, my dear folks, that even if you try a religious or cultural victory, you are still trying to impose some kind of hegemony on other people and states. In Crusader Kings III, if you use your court steward to convert a province to your culture, you'll decrease the acceptance between yours and the natives' cultures, damaging public order and risking a popular revolt. Even diplomacy can be morally revolting. In Stellaris, you can form with other alien empires a galactic senate, a sort of space UN that you can try to manipulate. You can conquer other planets or encourage immigration so that population-based voting are in your favor, or even vassalizing more and more empires so that empire-based ones will be rigged. You can even do the Palpatine move and be proclaimed Emperor of the whole galaxy to guarantee security and stability in front of extra-galactic menaces.
I can understand that other methods of victory that do not directly involve wars are also unpleasant, but at least there are some conscious decisions to discourage fascist tendencies. In fact, World War II games like Hoi 4 explicitly do not allow the player to induce a genocide of any kind. I think it is important for the player not to be given the option to commit atrocities, and especially to get any boost from them. X4 games have already too many options to micromanage the culture and the social structure of one's nation. In Victoria 2, you can literally incentivize the immigration of quote-unquote undesired minorities in the community by limiting their rights.
And this is why you are my subject and not vice versa. I have the moral burden to bring you culture. Wait, that sounded much more colonialist than I expected, huh? Anyways, I believe that in any contest it is a bad decision to take out responsibility from the player. The point should be to give the gamer the possibility to acknowledge the horrific thing he or she is doing, even if following some kind of grand plan of greater good. In Victoria 2, you can achieve social stability by depleting the poorest part of your population or not accepted culture. If you increase your military salary and do a recruitment campaign only in the population group that are inconvenient, you can then use them as cannon fodder, or even march them endlessly in the desert, killing them in a similar way to the Armenian genocide. These will visibly increase the public order, but you'll have lost a large production population, decreasing your incomes and also having spent a lot of money, so the whole operation at a great economic cost.
I see your point, but does it work? The player certainly does not need to be told explicitly that conducting extremist policies to gain some sort of bonus have some side consequences, but if it is made implicit, the memo might not get across. How much responsibility does the developer have when dealing with sensible topics, and how should they depict them?
I think that there is a certain responsibility in depicting sensible topics. Removing them is an easy way to resolve the issue, especially regarding too soon events, like World War II atrocities. This tactic can be acceptable in games where this moral dilemma is not the explicit focus of the game. I mean, in Hearts of Iron 4, the point is to build your industry and to tactically and strategically outclass your enemies. However, in games set in Colonialism era, it's unbecoming to pretend that there are no bad consequences or no loss in human capital in exterminating populations. Europa Universalis IV, even having a really Eurocentric approach, I mean it's in the title, tries to depict that colonialism is a bad thing. As an example, when you start colonizing the Americas, you'll have to decide the policy your settlers are going to have with the natives. You can exterminate the local population, reducing the risk of attacks from the quote-unquote savages and protecting your settlers, but also reducing the development of the region, increasing the cost of the colony and blocking all possible events about integration and commerce with them. So, in this situation, it's clear that you did something that not only damaged the natives, but also reduces possible gains for your empire.
Now that you mention it, modern 4X games try their best to be as inclusive as possible and teach the player about history and culture. The early Civilization titles, for instance, were very Eurocentric, yet games like Civilization VI depict a myriad of lesser-known civilizations, such as the Congo, the Crete, the Maori, and the Gran Colombia. The game does not predetermine what faction is stronger or weaker due to their historic past, but rather allow the player to explore what a modern Babylonian empire would look like today. True, war is still pretty much unavoidable during the campaign, but the game does distinguish between different types of wars and the way you manage the newly captured territories, often rewarding patient and more clement conquerors than warmongers. The point is that yes, 4X games do gamify delicate themes, but perhaps this very depiction of the 4Xs that remarks the good and the evil of the world's dynamic. Peace may not always be an option, but by allowing different routes and alternatives, 4X games can depict these sensitive topics without endorsing them. Would you agree?
Indeed, the peaceful and culturally respectful way is always the hardest, even in real life, and depending on the historical period depicted, is not even plausible. In Total War Rome 2, it doesn't make sense not to conquer new land, you are literally playing as the expansionist Roman Republic, but it may be beneficial not to exterminate or enslave the population of occupied settlements. The important thing is that the player can have the element to distinguish between good and evil. In Stellaris, you can play as a xenophobe empire, enabling you to exterminate other species, but all other aliens will hate you, crippling your diplomacy. In Victoria 2, you can keep slavery, but you'll slow the mobility and urbanization of your society, stopping your industrialization. Moreover, slaves are much less efficient than free farmers, making you not competitive on the global market. In all these examples, the player definitely can do bad things and atrocities, but has to sustain the consequences of them, so he has to carefully think and then choose his actions.
I couldn't have said that better myself. So, to give a short answer from this long discussion, the way 4X games can represent good and evil is by teaching the player with in-game consequences the realities of history, by neither incentivizing nor disincentivizing them in order to have a more organic understanding of the topic in hand. History is full with contradictions to debates. Events that were seen as great can be later seen as tragedies. It is therefore crucial that 4X games are honest at offering the players all tools, both good and evil, to reach his or her own desired goal. 4X games have the ultimate objective to win against others, but the means to reach his goals are up to the player. So there you have it. 4X games are always a tricky subject to tackle due to their sensitive nature over big topics. However, I hope Dandoz and I presented to you with a more complete vision of how 4X games can depict both good and evil, enhancing critical thinking. Say, is this the reason why you took over my channel, Dando? To teach me this lesson?
Not really, but I guess I'll have to pretend it, or else the Interpol sent by International Criminal Court at The Hague won't forgive me for this one. So, yeah? What can I say except, you're welcome.
Well, I'm glad to have my channel back. I can finally carry on doing videos for hours and hours to get like 20 views. The good old fox is back.
Yeah, we get it. Have you seen the timestamp though? It's called conclusion for a reason, you know? Conclude!
Jeez, Dandoz, seems like you're in a rush to leave. It's like getting my channel, you also took my national debt and... Oh, hold on a minute. Damn it, I should have left with my channel.
Too late, no backsies. I'm already flying to Argentina, hombre!
What? This old strategy still works? Anyways, for the few of you who didn't escape to Argentina, I wish to thank you one too many 4X times for watching today's video. Do not forget to leave this video a like, to share it and subscribe for more. And as always, I wish you a wonderful day.
Arrivederci!